Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, my name is Avree, but you can call me ReeRee. So today I will be discussing why I personally believe that some older women do hate younger ladies for very unfair reasons. And before I go any further, I would just like to shout out to someone I met recently. Her name is Miss Molly, and she is one of my supporters, and it was very pleasant meeting her. So Miss Molly, I hope you're having a very blessed day. No, I am always someone who will stick up for women no matter what. um some people might think that I'm biased, but even if I'm biased, I must be biased because I too am a woman. So hey, um personally, uh most women who in my life were supposed to be like positive ended up being negative. I do not get along with any female figure in my life, from my mother to stepmother. Anything that is involved in mother, I don't get along with them. The only person I believe that I got along with, the both of them, and they're now deceased. A woman by the name of Miss Joyce. She took very good care of me when the parents abandoned me. Yes. She's now deceased, and of course my grandmother on my mother's side, so my maternal grandmother. Those two women are an exception. They treated me very, very well, and although they're gone, I do miss them dearly. Otherwise, even if it's in the workplace, in the family, in a friendly setting, older men and myself do not get along. Not that I put myself in a position, but I have never had a fully wholesome, positive experience with older women. Older women have always given me a hard time. Doesn't matter what, whether it's family, friends, or even business wise in the workplace, whatever you may call it. I genuinely do not get along with older women. It could be that I am just around the wrong set. But that has changed ever since I realized older women's attitude. Like I said, I'm not speaking of all women because there are many women who have confidence in themselves. Um, they they're lovers of life, and they see younger people as someone, or as younger women especially, as someone that need guidance, and they don't try to sabotage them or help or insult them. They're positive. So I'm not speaking about every single older woman. No, that's not the case. I'm talking about the ones who come off as a bit bitter towards young ladies, and they have nothing positive to say about them. They're always criticizing, and they will do what they need to do. Some of them will go the extra mile to sabotage them. So those are the women that I am referring to in this video. Now, one of the reasons I find that older women hate younger ladies is because they feel unaccomplished and insecure. And so they might feel like when they were younger, they wasted their time. And so as they age and progress in life, they look on younger women who, in their opinion, are doing more than them, are accomplishing more than they accomplished at that age. And so they have some bitterness towards younger women. My personal opinion is this: as time gets more modern, younger people, including women, are accomplishing more. Not in all cases, but if a young woman is given the perfect circumstances, and I'm not talking about young women who are disrespectful, who don't respect themselves. I'm not talking about the negative ones. I'm talking about positive young ladies, 18, 19, 20, 21, young ladies now. A lot of them are very ambitious, and they outshine a lot of people because they are focused, and they are here to do what they're to do. And they have a plan for their lives, and they execute that plan, and they are succeeding. Some older women will see these younger ladies as a threat, and thus they will treat them poorly, they will hate them. And what they do is because they feel like this young lady is an over accomplisher and she's outshining me. No older woman should feel that way because, like I said, if young lady X is born within certain circumstances, meaning she's born into a family that's well off, for example, or she's born in a family that's free from certain generational curses, or she's born in a family that is extremely loving and supporting, naturally she will accomplish more once she's also focused and ambitious, and use all the opportunities provided to her, she will accomplish more than a typical 21-year-old. And so life is not balanced all across the table for every woman. Some older women back then did not have the opportunities, and so their lack of accomplishment doesn't necessarily mean that they were not ambitious. It just means that they were granted different circumstances. So there is no need to feel hatred towards a younger lady because you think that she accomplished more than you, because she and you are two different people in two different circumstances. And so it wasn't fair. Donkey said the word on a level. You should never try to feel insecure or inferior towards younger females because they're doing them and you have done you, and you have to live with the past. If you feel like you wasted your time at an older age, that's not the young lady's fault. So if you have like a daughter-in-law, if you have a young relative, a young co-worker, you really shouldn't do them dirt, because at the end of the day, sometimes they're looking at you, the older woman, to provide them with advice and guidance. Now, another reason why I believe older women hate younger ladies is because in the older woman's youth, she might have wasted her time doing the wrong things, wasted her time with the wrong people, and did not secure a family. Family meaning did not secure a husband because she was doing the wrong thing. What I mean is being promiscuous, right? Not trying to settle down. Probably had kids but didn't really take care of her kids. And so as those children grew older, they somewhat abandoned her. And I have discussed abandoning or cutting off your family members. So sometimes that parent might have been, toxic. And so not having a husband, not having children around you, you grow up and you become bitter. A family is important to everybody. Even if you're a single parent, you have your children, you have someone in your space to look after you, to check in with you, etc. And so when you don't spend your youth, when your young days, your hearty days taking care of your children, settling down with a spouse, not saying that you need a man, but either family or spouse, children or spouse, you secured enough of those in your youthful days. And now as an older person, you might see young women with their spouse, with their family, and you become bitter. And you, instead of understanding that the reason why you don't have what that person might have is because you did not secure it, right? At that time when you were younger, you didn't see the need to settle down because you wanted to run up and down with man and everything. And then now you're having an issue with yourself and misguided hatred and bitterness towards a younger lady, and thus you hate that woman because you realize the mistake that you made, and you tell yourself that if you had done what this lady had done at her age, when you were her age, maybe your current situation would have been better. And a lot of persons are not able to look within themselves and realize that they did something wrong and accept it. Instead, they will have negative feelings towards the person who emulate, because there's a thin line between jealousy and admiration. There really is. Some of these same women don't try to secure a foundation, and so when they see young women on the up and up coming up, they feel like they have to try and stop them, or they deliberately sabotage them. I've experienced that many, many times. Like I said, I grew up with my father's wife, aka stepmother, and we know stepmothers can all be very good and they can be very bad. In my case, it was very bad. And like I said, she definitely had issues because she was abandoned by her mother, and she carried that over into the relationship with my father and me. And she did not like the relationship that we had because she apparently didn't have a relationship with her father. And so that trauma, they don't heal from these kinds of trauma. Sometimes they were abused as a child. Sometimes they were neglected, and they never experience love. And when these women, these young ladies don't experience love, like myself, some women heal like myself and get over it, and some of them live with the bitterness and they carry it all throughout their lives and become hateful to young people. And it's unfortunate because a lot of times these young people are their own daughters. They're the nieces, they're their granddaughters. They have hatred towards them because they have not healed from the foul dealings that they went through. Sometimes what they went through has nothing to do with them, but because they were young and unable to take care of themselves, their folks took advantage of them, mistreated them, ill treated them, and so they're going around with this burden And so when they see young people, what might it be in the workplace, might it be at home, might it be anywhere at all, naturally, the moment they see a young lady, they have nothing good to say about her. They criticize her, they bash her, um, they bash everything about the female because they're just jealous because they have not healed from their own trauma and they believe that they should have been able to experience what this young lady who is doing her own thing, minding her own business, is experiencing. They feel like they should have lived that way at that time. The key to getting over the past is accepting it, healing, and moving on. The next reason why I believe older women may have issues with younger women is because some older women are selfish and unloving. Selfish meaning that they don't understand their concept of being an older person. Typically, you would assume that an older person has knowledge, has wisdom by virtue of, being on earth so long and have experiences and have learned from those experiences, thus becoming wise. Naturally, I feel like once a person is older, they are naturally wiser because they have experienced a lot of what life had to offer, good and bad, and thus has learned. Now, why I say selfish is because some older people don't understand that you are pillars in society. Young people look to you for understanding, for wisdom, for knowledge. And so, if you don't feel like you should share some of your wisdom, I call that being selfish because at my age now, I know people who are younger than me, and I have seen them come. I've seen them with opportunities that I feel like I should tell them about. I feel like I should share my wisdom with them and say, look here, don't do this, don't do that. Even on this platform here, I share my experiences so you, the viewer, can learn from it. For example, building on family land ruined my life. And I've said it out clear. Don't build on family land, don't live close to in laws, just don't do it, don't share space. I experienced these things and I had a very difficult time. And so I feel like it is important to share my experience, to share my knowledge, so that you don't have to go through what I go through. I'm saving you years and years of heartache and pain. Unfortunately, some women don't feel like they need to do that. Some women will see you doing foolishness and watch you suffer and bask in it. That's selfish. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I could never do that. Unloving because you could never love somebody or care about somebody and watch them make a mistake instead of warning them or educating them. Mind you, young people are stubborn, so you will tell them, don't do this, and they will not listen to you. But some people won't even bother telling you. I'm telling you, womanhood is a big deal, really. Women go through a lot daily. So you have some women who would never share their knowledge, they don't have any maternal instincts, especially women without children. Older women without children, some are loving, some don't have the patience because they have never loved a child before, they've never experienced that kind of love. Um, they have never partaken in, raising a child. I'm not bashing all women. Some women, despite the fact of not having their own children, they're still loving. Some women, however, though, they did not want the responsibility of being a mother, and so they have never really been, what do I say now? They've never really been maternal about anything. They've never really been a provider or a home care or a home giver or a home care or a caretaker. They've never done any of those things. So when it comes on to young people, they don't like them because they don't want children. They're not maternal. They're selfish. They don't want the responsibility. And so a younger person to them would be more like an annoyance or a nuisance to them because they're just not having it. And women can be like that. Like I said, not all women, but some women. Now, the final reason why I believe older women hate younger women is because they compare themselves. There's no way a 55-year-old should compare themselves to a 25-year-old. It's different. That's like a lifetime away. First of all, a 55-year-old is good and well a grandmother. And a lot of 25-year-old nowadays, they don't have children yet. So you're dealing with somebody, number one, who is young. Some of them are not as exposed, not as experienced. Thus, they don't have the knowledge that a 55-year-old woman would have. And like I said, you can't compare somebody who was presented with different opportunities, somebody who was born into different circumstances versus yourself, because when a 25-year-old might have or had not parents, you might have had or had not parents too. So the foundation is different. You can't compare somebody who was born in a rich home versus somebody who was born in a poor home. You can't compare somebody who was born with both parents versus someone who was raised by a single parent. You shouldn't. You can't compare someone who was born in the 90s versus someone who was born 2025. The exposure is different. The level of understanding is different. Everything is different. So when you compare yourself, for example, why would you compare a 55 year old's body to a 25-year-old? A 55-year-old probably has gone through childbirth, sickness, all these things, while a 25-year-old is young and is youthful. It's not a fair comparison. If a woman is doing that, she is basically torturing herself, because at the end of the day, you have already been 25, you have already been 30, you've already been 40. Why are you comparing yourself to somebody that is so much younger than you? It makes no sense. Um, we have to understand where we are at in life and know ourselves. A lot of older persons don't like to see young people prosper, because in their days they wasted their time. They don't like to see young people settle down, especially young women, because in their days they didn't want to settle down. You have no right to compare yourself to a younger person, a woman or a man. But I'm speaking about women specifically, because like I said, only about two women in my life I feel like did me justice. Every other older woman I've come across, in one way or another, try to tear me down. They've tried to tear down my relationship. They've lied on me. They've sabotaged and jeopardized my jobs. I have never had a good relationship with older women. I only try to keep it cordial with older women and keep it moving, because the women I've come across can be very catty, and I'm talking about older women, older women come across a lot of times as being catty, very jealous, and it's not a reasonable form of jealousy, because you've had older women, you've had your life, you've lived your life, you have done everything that you're to do. What you should do now is think about just relaxing, imposing some of your knowledge on other people, younger people, might be your family. And like I said before, unfortunately, the victims who fall under the older women are their own daughters. They don't like their daughters. I know of at least a lot of women nowadays who have poor relationship with their mothers, including myself, because of straight out jealousy. They don't want the daughter to do what the daughter is doing, in the sense where um, just they don't like how the daughter brings themselves. They think that the daughter is carrying on better than them. It just shouldn't be like that. And then that is basically the beginning, or the perpetuating of generational curses, where mother and daughter do not get along. It shouldn't be like that. And this is where I leave the video for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell and leave your comments below. Please take care of yourselves.